This is part of a series of movies spanning the decade of horror cinema from the 1980s, well, things that were and shall be again. Hellraiser. We start things off very bloody, with Clive Barker's demented gothic masterpiece based on his own novella. This gory marvel follows the poor unsuspecting victims of a possessed puzzle box cabal. You opened it after Frank tracks it down and is able to open it. It turns into a Pandora's box, unleashing unimaginable demonic creatures whose only purpose is to torture people in a hellish, Otherworld Jesus wet when he escapes and is resurrected. Pinhead and his Cenobites go on a soul-hunting mission. The Cenobites gave me an experience beyond the limits with controversial and creative effects and sadomasochistic imagery. This sleeper hit made Clive Barker of household name. Kirsty, it's Frank. It's Uncle Frank. Child's Play. Although a moderate success at first, Child's Play, like most of our 80s list, became a cult phenomenon when serial killer Charles Lee Ray is cornered in a toy store. He makes sure his soul gets transferred to a doll. He just found the possessed doll soon finds itself in the hands of young Andy Barclay. The rest of the mayhem writes itself. Oh, he's something, isn't he? But the creativity behind making Chucky come to life and not keeping him in the shadows the whole time makes this bright fest stands out. You mean I have to live out the rest of my life in this body? No fucking way. Chucky is menacing but entertaining, an all-out frightening hello. Andy. An American werewolf in London. John Landis shocked everyone with his 1981 horror comedy, mostly with how easily he scared everyone will not be threatened by a walking meatloaf. The story follows two young American backpackers in England who get attacked by a werewolf. She couldn't help me up, although only one of them survives. He is plagued by his dead friends, ghost warning him of the impending full moon. What follows is an Oscar-winning transformation that will never be forgotten, released alongside other 1981 werewolf gems like the equally frightening and classic Wolfen and the Howling. Poltergeist. This Academy Award-nominated blockbuster has a slight taste of golden oldies. Drive-in funhouse thrill ride to it, but once it gets going, it's a simple haunted house story grabs you and doesn't let go. Monster under your bed, in your closet, in your TV, evil clowns, dead bodies in your pool. It's got it all and leaves no stone or grave unturned, with a powerhouse team like Tobe Hooper and Steven Spielberg behind it, and released just 1 week apart from Eastern Time. People knew what kind of extravagant special effects and storytelling to expect, and Poltergeist certainly delivered. Evil Dead. Although the original Evil Dead has many merits and is highly influential, Evil Dead: Dead by Dawn is what happens when you give a visionary all the freedom he needs. After much underground success and an endorsement by Stephen King, funding for a sequel became possible, and a young Sam Raimi saw an opportunity, but for a sort of reimagining. That thing in the cellar is not my mother. What would Evil Dead have looked like with a huge budget? Throw Ash into the same cabin facing the same demons and more comedic elements, and enjoy the purely insane pandemonium. Swallow this. Friday the 13th holds on to what kicked off the longest-running horror franchise of all time. This cheaply made sleeper hit was developed as a response to the success of Halloween and other holiday-themed horror flicks. Oh my sweet. It wasn't Chasing Shaun's. Cunningham created something unstoppable, though what started off as a revenge thriller about a killer stalking sex-crazed teens at Camp Crystal Lake turned into one of the most iconic masked faces in horror, and which also spawned sequels, spin-offs, a TV series, books, comics, video games, you name it. Jason has been to hell and back many times, and it seems like nothing is going to stop him. The Thing, that a man, whatever it is, they burn it up every. Although The Fog was a worthy follow-up to Halloween, it wasn't until The Thing that John Carpenter was able to sink his teeth into his audience again and never let go. More of a very twisted reimagining of the novella and less of a remake of the 1951 classic. We follow Kurt Russell and his team of researchers in a tiny Antarctic station as they're being torn apart by an unseen parasitic alien life form. Here it quickly devolves into pure claustrophobic paranoia, since the alien can take the form of any one of them. The Fly. Body horror. Master David Cronenberg is best known for bringing the chills without using conventional methods like ghosts, demons and monsters, as evidenced in the brilliant Videodrome and Dead Ringers, but in 1986 he took a step back and aimed his disturbed mind at a very classic monster, and we will forever thank him for it. Jeff Goldblum. Slow transformation and deterioration into the Fly is the stuff of nightmares, images you will never unsee, and moments that will make even the toughest guy hide behind a pillow. A Nightmare on Elm Street director Wes Craven was inspired by the true story of a group of people who actually died while they were dreaming and created a man of your nightmares. Yes, is God putting a twist on the whole slasher craze? This dark fantasy series follows the demented and unrelenting Freddy Krueger, a demonic child killer and king of one-liners. Freddy, who's able to enter your dreams and use creative ways to end your life. Something as innocent as an app can mean death for the kids of Elm Street. Try as they might to stay awake. The shining filmmaker Stanley Kubrick has successfully turned every genre into cinematic art, comedy, drama, war, film, sci-fi, historical epic. They had to resort to cannibalism in order to stay alive, which is why people anxiously awaited to see what you would do with horror. Oh, he took another master source material and turned Stephen King's already classic novel into what was hailed as a masterpiece in modern horror. He didn't. Let me finish my sentence. I said I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains. Unforgettable performances, iconic imagery and dialogue, stunning locations, ominous camera work. Jack Nicholson's descent into insanity boils ever so slowly below the surface that people can only scare and stunt terror and pray it never happens to them here. Do you agree with our list? Be sure to subscribe to Classic Flicks, link below.